Howdy there, folks. Welcome to part 2 of Mega Man 4. So, after defeating Toad Man, we're now going to take on Bright Man, who has a light bulb sticking out of his head. Get it? Bright Man. Anyway, Bright Man's stage actually has a couple of dickish type of moves in it. Well, kind of. They're only really dickish if it's the first time you're playing. It'll catch you off guard and it'll be like, fuck, as soon as it happens. Right here is the first one. If you keep moving, because you don't see the guy, and then you go to jump over, you're going to run into him, he's going to knock you into the pit, and you'll die. And that's always just like the biggest fuck moment. Like, it's like, damn it! So yeah, you want to wait a bit before you take the jump. You have to ride on these grasshopper cricket things across the spikes, because, as I mentioned in part 1, spikes are one-hit kills. We finally get to see the drill bomber, though, and it is a very good weapon for taking out the really bulky enemies. It's okay for taking these things out, but, well, only if you hit them and, you know, you don't miss like I did. But yeah, it's actually a really good weapon for taking out these super bulky enemies, like that thing that we just saw me use it on a bit ago, that it takes 2 shots to take out pretty much everything super bulky. So, it's a pretty decent weapon. Down here actually isn't really the way to progress through the stage. However, you want to take it so you can get an energy tank and a free man. The free men are Mega Man's face and helmet, in case you couldn't tell. I mentioned energy tanks in part 1, like at... well, no, it wasn't at the end, but I mentioned them, but I didn't explain what they do yet. Energy tanks, they're in the menu. Like, when you push the pause button, you'll go into the menu where you can select your weapons and shit like that. The energy tanks are towards the bottom, and when you select them, they will fully restore your health. So it's kind of like a free man, but, you know, better, because you don't have to die to get your health refilled. They're swell, and you want to make sure that you're grabbing them when you find them. In Mega Man 4, you're able to carry 9, and in Mega Man 3, you're able to carry 9. Mega Man 2, however, though, you are not able to carry 9. You're only able to carry 4, and honestly, I think that that's a much more fair amount of energy tanks than 9. I think 9 is just a little bit too many. The platforms right here, you actually want to wait until they're at the very top of the curve, because then you jump much higher and fuck. As I was saying, you want to wait until this part reaches all the way up at the top of the other side, so that way you jump a lot higher. If you're like me, like, my natural instinct is to jump as it's going up, like, up the curvy part. And you don't jump as high when you do that, and so that always throws me off guard. I'm actually surprised I made it as far as I did right there without dying on the first run through. Anywho, we are now at Bright Man. Bright Man is weak against the Rain Flush, and you need the exact amount of energy in order to kill him with it. So, Bright Man's deal is he likes to jump where you're at and shoot pellets in a very easy-to-dodge order. However, his other deal is he likes to stop time, and then he gets a free shot in on you. Honestly, you want him to hit you with the pellets rather than jump into you. He does so much damage when he jumps into you, it's ridiculous. Anywho, you use Rain Flush enough, and you'll take him out pretty easily. He's not that bad, as long as you're not letting him run into you. One thing I will say, after you use a Rain Flush, like, it goes up, but the rain doesn't start, like, coming onto the screen, you want to make sure that you don't push the pause button. Like, if you have to use an energy tank, you do not want to use the pause button, because then you're not going to have enough Rain Flush. Anywho, by defeating Flash Man, we get the Flash Stopper, which honestly is probably the most useful ability in the game. But we'll see that later. For now, we're going after Pharaoh Man. I actually love Pharaoh Man, if only because of his Mega Man in base profile. In case you're unsure of what I'm talking about, the game Mega Man in Base for the Game Boy Advance has profiles for pretty much all of the Robot Masters of the classic Mega Man series, all the way up until Mega Man 9, because Mega Man 9 came out after Mega Man in Base, so therefore it'd be really fucking weird if Mega Man in Base had profiles for them. I'm taking Rush Jet to skip this part because why the fuck would I not want to do that? Anywho, as I was saying, I love Pharaoh Man just because of part of his Mega Man and Bass profile. I don't remember the whole thing, and I'm too much of a lazy prick to look it up. The things I do remember is that, according to his profile, he has thousands of henchmen robots, and that he is too nice to women. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's that he is too nice to women. That is fucking hilarious. Anywho, the item that I picked up is actually the balloon. It's an item we're going to see here in a bit, actually. It's very useful, and you might want to pick it up. When you pick up the balloon, your health is fully restored, and you get to move on to much later on in the stage. Pharaoh Man's stage is actually really fucking short. In fact, it's probably the shortest stage in the game. You want to make sure you're riding those platforms. That first batch wasn't too bad, but the batch coming up is a little bit tougher, I'll say. At least I think it's this batch. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I can't remember. Basically, you need to ride these things in order to make it across the spikes. You know. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it was the previous batch. In the previous one, there were a couple of spots where if you didn't make the jump correctly when you jump to another one of the platform guys, then you actually get stuck in this pit of spikes and you can't really jump out of it. Anyway, we are now at Pharaoh Man, and he is weak against the Flash Stopper. Kind of. See, what I mean by he's weak against the Flash Stopper is that he is the only boss that it works on, and what the Flash Stopper does is it stops time. Pharaoh Man can no longer move. And you can fire the Mega Buster. You can't charge it up, but you can fire just the plain old Buster. And so what you want to do is wait until Pharaoh Man is pretty much just standing still like this, and then just start mashing the fuck out of the fire button. And, yeah, that's it. I'm serious, that's it. The Flash Stopper, as I said, though, is probably the most useful weapon ability you can get in this game, and it's pretty swell. By defeating Pharaoh Man, we get the Pharaoh Shot. The Pharaoh Shot is a powerful weapon that you can actually fire in an upward, like, you can fire it diagonally up, diagonally down, or straight ahead, and it's useful. Well, not really. It's good for taking on Ring Man, though. I love Ring Man. And I actually think Ring Man has the hardest stage in the game, personally speaking. The stage is... I think it's the hardest one in the game, but... I don't know, you guys be the judge of that. So, the whole the whole gimmick with Ring Man stage is that he has these platforms. You're obviously seeing them, it's hard not to, they're rainbowy. Once you step on a certain part of that platform, a hole will appear, and you have to be quick to get across. These ones aren't that bad, but there are far worse ones coming up. I recommend for these ones jumping a little bit ahead of the platform, or maybe step on them and wait for them to go and then run across. Something like that, though. And yeah, these aren't that bad, but oh, this is just the beginning, folks. This is just the beginning. We come over here to face off with... a Hippo. Okay. The Hippo spits out missiles, and honestly, you don't even want to watch the fucking Hippo. You want to pay attention more to the missiles. Watch the missiles, don't pay attention to the Hippo. As you can see, you have to shoot out the little pole that's underneath the Hippo, and then you can hit him with the Buster. Or there's another strategy that I'm going to show off that is easier, but I figured I'd show this way off for now. He's not that bad, just pay attention to the missiles instead of the Hippo. Over here, though, this first Hippo's not that bad because over here, they're very kind enough to give you a big health pellet. Yes, those... I haven't mentioned that either. The yellow glowing orb things, like the one I picked up, whether they're small or big like that one, they heal health. The blue, weird, container, rectangular type of things, those restore weapon energy. So, I haven't mentioned what those do yet. That's what they do. And now we're fighting a ring, or a set of rings with eyeballs. Basically, you just charge up the Buster, jump at a certain height. The timing's really simple to figure out. And then you hit him in the eyes with the Mega Buster. It's pretty easy. For this part, though, I figured I'd show off a much easier way to destroy the Hippo boss. Well, not really a boss, but the Hippo enemy. And that's just to spam the fuck out of Rain Flush. It'll destroy the missiles that are being shot at you, as well as damage the Hippo. It's very simple, it works pretty well. And what's more, you're more likely to... Well, I don't know about more likely, but you'll get health and weapon energy and all that. This is the balloon that we found in Pharaoh Man stage. Basically, you can create up to 3, and they're pretty much just platforms that you can jump on to reach certain heights. And this is Eddie. Eddie is a fantastic friend, I guess, of Mega Man's. This is actually a little tip that I'm showing off. See, what Eddie does is he'll drop either a big health refiller, a big weapon energy refiller, an energy tank, or a free man. If you let him kick out an item and then you run off screen without picking it up and then go back, he'll keep dropping a different thing each time you go back. And so, you know, if you really want energy tanks or free men, just keep doing that. But honestly, I was trying to show it off, but he was just not having it, and honestly, I don't really care. I don't need those things that bad. So, that's Eddie. He's fantastic. He's essentially a purse. This is where I like to bring out Bright Man's weapon, and we'll get to see just how useful it is. It stops time, so, well, kind of. These platforms are still going to keep moving, and with these platforms, you definitely want to step on them before you start going across. Like that. But Bright Man's weapon will freeze time, keeping those weird disc planet things from running into you. It's very useful. I love Bright Man's weapon. It's by far the most useful in the game. If only because you can still fire the regular Mega Buster when you use it. I think it's fantastic, and since Pharaoh Man's the only thing in the game weak against it, that makes it useful. And another ring enemy with eyeballs. This one's a little harder. At least I think it is. For some reason, I always get hit by the rings, like, more often than I do the previous one. But again, the timing's still very simple. He's very easy to kill. I think it takes 3, maybe 4 Mega Buster, like, charged up Buster shots. He goes down nice and easy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to take on Ring Man. Ring Man is weak against the Pharaoh shot, as I mentioned, and you hold down the fire button, much like with the Mega Buster, to charge up the Pharaoh shot, and the orb will be glowing above Mega Man, like that, and then you can throw it at him. You want to charge it up and then hit Ring Man with it. If you just fire the little shots, it doesn't work as well. Ring Man has a very simple pattern, but I am horrible at fighting Ring Man. I always almost get my ass kicked by him. But that was Ring Man. By defeating Ring Man, we get the Ring Boomerang, and the Ring Boomerang is actually pretty shitty. We'll see more of it in the upcoming part, but ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for part 3.